Uncle Lou, get us started on the Georgia side. And I believe you've heard the news at this point. Desmond just actually informed me when we first came on that JT Daniels has tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, good morning, Nat. I was going to make a joke about that at the very beginning about how Georgia can't catch a break. The wrong QB got COVID. But COVID's nothing to joke about. I don't want to make light of it, but but yeah, Stetson good to go though, I guess. Well, at least health wise. But no, I heard that today too. I hope JT's okay. I'll admit I started tuning some of the COVID stuff out over the last couple of months. It was just without getting into any of it, it was just on and on and on. But now I'm turning the TV on today, and the NHL is canceled for a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. Something like 15% of the college basketball games this week have been canceled. Just all kinds of stuff going on. So I don't know. I hope JT's okay, and I hope just like with injuries, I don't want anybody from Michigan to have to miss this game. I don't want anybody from Georgia. Same thing with Bama and Cincinnati. I mean, when you get to these big games, I don't want to beat half of Michigan. I'm sure Michigan doesn't want to beat half of Georgia. And besides that, you just, you want everybody to be okay. But yeah, I did hear the news. I don't think JT Daniels was going to play. I mean, barring an injury to Stetson Bennett, I don't think not having JT Daniels will impact the game.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was going to ask you that is because right after Georgia lost, there was a lot of talk of, JT Daniels is a better quarterback, he should play, so on and so forth. And I've even seen just your channel, and especially the stream you had after the Georgia game, that you had mentioned that window had closed weeks ago as far as having, JT come in and replace Stetson. Because I think we can all agree that JT Daniels is the better quarterback, but for whatever reason, obviously it sounded like JT had an injury early on in the season. And then, once Stetson came in, it seemed like Kirby was just kind of just going to roll with him and move forward with him. So do you think there was any shot of him JT potentially starting that game against Michigan?
No, I mean, when you end the season with Charleston Southern and Georgia Tech, you're going to win that game 100 and something to less than 20 total. I mean, those are just two. You knew there were going to be two blowouts. So you're saying to yourself, okay, they keep saying JT Daniels is rusty and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, that sure would be a great opportunity to put him in or somebody in the second half of those two games. And, let's pretend Stetson Bennett was Bryce Young. Well, you still need a prepared backup. Somebody that's completed some passes recently, maybe. They didn't play at all against Charleston Southern and Georgia Tech. They put him in the second half. He played the entire third quarter and didn't attempt one pass. JT, they wouldn't even let him throw the ball. He handed the ball off 25 times and went and sat down, and they put Carson Beck in. So when we ended the season that way, I said, well, there's no plan to play JT, or else you would have used these last two basically preseason games that came at the end of the regular season. You'd have used those two games to prepare JT. And all the rumors, well, he's not 100%, or this whole fake made up argument between JT Daniels' family doctor and the team doctor. I don't buy any of that. This is people trying to make excuses for why Kirby Smart is playing Stetson Bennett. I think I don't believe any of that stuff. How you don't have a backup prepared, I don't know. I mean, I love Kirby to death. He's a great coach and an even better recruiter, obviously. But he's not perfect. And whatever you think about the Stetson versus JT argument and who's better, I don't see how anybody can look at Kirby Smart and go, yeah, he's done a great job handling quarterback since he's got to Georgia. Like, that's obviously something that he has fallen down on multiple times. And I think this year is another example, not just because JT Daniels isn't starting, but because we have no viable backup option at QB. And that's unacceptable when you've got 5 straight top 3 recruiting classes, 2 number 1 classes, you've signed more 5-star quarterbacks than any other team in America in the last 5 years. More than Ohio State, more than Oklahoma, more than Alabama, more than Clemson. Kirby's had more 5 stars than any of them. None of them have played. We're stuck with Fromm and Stetson Bennett. So anyway, I could talk for 2 hours about it, but we better move on before I get a little irritated here.
Well, I want to give a shout out to the badass Buckeye there. That's the first Buckeye fan I've seen rooting for Michigan to win this game out of anybody on social media. So props to you there. But I wanted to point this out. So Michigan, that defense is going up against another, you could call it QB controversy, when they went up against a QB controversy in Iowa as well. How many times has a team in 2 essentially championship games gone against a team with a QB controversy? I mean, Iowa had to put in their backup in second or third quarter there. So it's just interesting. And with, Michigan's defense, their strength this year has been getting to the quarterback. And I think that is a big, deal in this game. If Michigan can get to Stetson Bennett or whoever that QB is, that changes a lot of stuff for what Georgia can do. Now, I think Georgia's offensive line is going to be different than most everybody that they've gone against in the Big Ten. I mean, Iowa and Ohio State both have pretty solid offensive lines. But if Michigan can get to that quarterback, then all of a sudden Stetson Bennett or JT Daniels is now your offensive coordinator's thinking about things, you're second guessing things. It's just something that I think you're going to want to think about as everyone's preparing for this game.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can get hurt at any time. We all know that. You step on the field, any play could be your last. I just, you rotate 15 defensive linemen in and out of a game. We play 19 wide receivers that no one's ever heard of. We have 4 NFL tight ends that rotate in and out. But for some reason, we have no viable backup option at the quarterback position, and it doesn't even appear that they attempted to get one, to develop one. It's just strange. And yeah, well, Stetson's mobile. Yeah, I don't know where Georgia would have been this year without those 200 yards rushing and 1 touchdown from Stetson Bennett on 4 and 8 probably.